Imagine your beautiful children, whom you love so much, being abused by pedophiles because they were not sex educated. Many parents usually say, God forbid it can't be my child. But may I inform you that God forbid is not a parenting strategy. God will not come down to do for us what He has already given us the power to do. As parents, He has given us the power to train our children. So are you training your child to ensure that your child is not abused when face to face with an abuser? I usually tell parents every child is at risk of abuse until they are empowered to overcome it. Your child can be at risk of abuse if you have not empowered your child. Now, let me ask you this question. How safe is your child when with his or her teacher at school? You drop your lovely children off at school and you do not know what happens in the class. Even if you know the teacher, do you know the intent of the teacher every day they come to school? You have paid school fees for your children to be taught, but how have you empowered your child to ensure your child is not being abused at school? When your driver takes your child from one place to the other, how safe is your child in the hands of your driver? What about your house help? When you leave your house help at home with your child, is your child really safe? What about with your child's lesson teacher? What about with family and friends? What about sleepovers? What about with peers when they're with their friends, when they are playing? Are you sure that these children are safe? Have you empowered them to be able to stand against these abusers? What about in church? A lot of us go to church to get succor from this decaying world. But unfortunately, do you know that abusers also come to church? And they can be found in the midst of your children. UNICEF record says that 1 in 4 girls are sexually abused yearly. And 10% boys are sexually abused yearly. Because some people might be saying, oh, I have only boys, so they might not be abused. But don't be too relaxed, because even boys are abused. Now, 49% of abusers are family and friends. Everyone around your child is a suspect until proven otherwise. By probability, nobody knows the child that could be at risk. You don't know if your child is presently at risk if you have not empowered the child. How then can your child fight these situations if they found themselves in this situation? I met a parent who said his child was too small for sex education, and I just laughed. Ignorance is a killer disease. Hosea 4:6 says, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, because thou hast rejected knowledge. As a father and as a mother, once your child is growing up, in fact from age 2 when your child can talk, it is a time to educate your child, to ensure that your child is safe, whether you are there with the child or not. So don't be ignorant, because ignorance kills. It's a killer disease. It has killed so many. It has traumatized a lot of children, not to talk about teenagers that do not know their left from their right. But because we feel our culture does not permit us to discuss these things with our children, and we are not knowledgeable enough to know age-appropriate conversations to develop with our children, we find our children in this maze that we cannot return from. So what should you do to keep your child safe in this decaying world? Locking your child in their house is not the solution. I've seen some people say, my children are always alone, or I lock them in the house. Sorry, that is not a solution, because you are doing much more harm than good. Isolating your child alone in the house is even worse. So what should you then do? Your children are in the social world. You have to prepare them to be able to thrive in this world. How do you prepare them? Give them age-appropriate sex education. This is the only key to giving your child safety, whether in your presence, in your absence, while with their peers, while with family and friends. Sex education is the only key. That's why we bring to you our child safety challenge for every parent that will care to join this challenge, because I am tired of dealing with intervention issues. It is time for parents to get up and be proactive. Be part of these preventive measures. It is time for you to learn and share this knowledge with your children and help them to apply this knowledge so that they do not become victims of circumstance. So what do we teach you in our child safety challenge? We teach you age-appropriate sex education styles. What is the child style that you should use for age 0 to 4? The style you should use for teens, the style you should use for preteens. This is what we teach. We also teach you sex conversation starters, gender gender-based conversation you must have with your children, God's view and God's guide about sex, how to answer sex conversation questions when asked by your children. Sometimes your children really want to know these things. They come to you and you're like, close your mouth. That should not come out of your mouth. No. When children come to ask, it's because they do not know and they need help. If you do not give them the help they need, they will find it somewhere. And who knows if this somewhere is a place that you would love them to find. Who knows if that somewhere could be safe. So the only way to empower your children is to create a defense for them and ensure that they are able to challenge their abuser if you empower them with this knowledge. Our course fee for this program is 15,000, but we are giving 85% discount for the next 1,000 slots, and you are to pay only 2,000 naira. Now let's look at it. Can you use 2,000 to pay for the damage that abusers can do to your child? Can you use 2,000 to treat your child in the hospital if they are face to face with an abuser? Can you use 2,000 to take away the trauma that your child is going to live with for the rest of his or her life? This is only what you have to pay to gain knowledge so that you can save the child. You can save our society. You can save the lives of these children in the decaying generation they have found themselves. So all you need to do is to pay 2,000 naira to the account on this video and then send your receipt via WhatsApp to the number shown in this video. Remember, the pain of regret is more expensive than 2,000 naira. Pay and let's meet in the class.